Women Who Inspire is a celebration of outstanding female leadership. Part 1 will explore why women are starting their own business and the issues affecting the career paths of women. This is the first of a 3-part series.
Hi, my name's Sonia Meggie and I'm the founder of an organisation called Inspirational You. I'm also a mother and a student. Over the last 2 years, I've interviewed and featured over 200 women on the various events that I organise via my company, Inspirational You, and all of these women I've met via social media. I've interviewed women who run successful banking companies, women who run blogs, women who've changed careers, women who've decided that going back into full-time work is not for them, or women who, like myself, just have a genuine passion for technology and just want to learn more.
If anybody would like to get on Wi-Fi right now, let's get you all pepped up and fired up. So do ask questions, do take notes, and of course, just engage as much as possible. We're here for your benefit, not the other way around, okay?
Tech for me has opened up many doors. I happen to be the first in a few of technology's qualifications, and it's opened the doors for me to have my own business, be a homeschooling mum, and on the board of many different strange companies. Apps are amazing right now. There's lots of things that you can utilise with free apps, paid apps, whatever. And I find that what I like to do now is like a game I play with the smart kids that I teach. It's a game where we open up the apps as well as when I do business meetings, find out what apps people use most and see what uses it has for you. Because I've recently done an invoice from an app and my business partner was like, oh my God, that took you seconds. How did you do that? I was like, it's an app I downloaded.
Technology has been fantastic for me because I teach online. I teach for University of the Arts, London, College of Fashion and Central St Martin's. And I'm able to reach called Wilberforce Academy, which will help young people to look at business in technology and across the creative industries.
The interesting thing about that is that I don't actually live here. I live in Ghana, West Africa, so tech has been fantastic for me because it allows me to teach overseas.
It's allowed me to have it all. So I have a career, I have family, I've got a husband, kids, and technology's basically allowed me to manage all of that.
YouTube is a great resource. It's like you can just type in the word Twitter help and you will get some. There are lots of people that just don't mind filming themselves, telling you how to do stuff. I've taught myself Photoshop, I tried to edit a video, I didn't do it well. But it's, you know, there's so many help videos, at least on YouTube.
Tech has made things so much easier in my life. I can run both my businesses from anywhere in the world. That can be in the bathroom, the kitchen, on the school run, at the school gates, in the queues, even from home if I want to. Technology
has been brilliant for me in regards to my business because it gets me to spread the word about the wonderful things that British black entertainers are doing, which was really previously unheard of and not really discussed.
There's a website called NameCheck and it's spelled NAMECHK. And what you can do with that particular website is you can go in and check and see whether your name's there or not, whether it's been taken by Facebook, Dig, Ning, Instagram, whatever. So that's one of the things that I would do.
Technology is now available to facilitate people's dreams and goals. So if you're a woman who had always dreamed about having your own PR agency because you know you've got amazing relationships and you think you can use those relationships to help other people progress, in the past that would have been a lot more difficult than it is now for simple reasons such as social media platforms exist, things like LinkedIn exist. If it's an artist, things like SoundCloud. If it's a filmmaker, Behance. You know, there's something for everyone now.
So technology is always moving really quickly, and it's about we have a responsibility as women to keep up to date, but it's not always easy to do that because you've only got so many hours in the day, and you can't always be on top of everything.
So many of us not bothering to take risks because in their subconscious they feel as though they're not expected to take risk, and taking risk is not a good thing. And the more and more I work in the business world, I find being logical, being able to take risks, being less emotional are really, and just being, I don't know, being really naive and like just basking in your naivety, like, is really good for business, because it means you will make those mistakes and then you'll learn those lessons, because you don't really learn any lessons if you're not prepared to make mistakes.
As a mum, I like to be there to either do the drop-off or the pick-up, and I just feel that's something I have to do, and that just isn't possible in traditional roles and in traditional workplaces. So I felt that I had to start my own business. I had to start looking at what I could do outside of the confines of an organisation, so that I could be that mum, that student, and that woman that can have it all to an extent.
Personally, my biggest challenge with setting up my own business is lack of support with my daughter. And I think, and the costs that go with childcare, to be able to have the mind space, to be able to make a plan, to then execute it. That to me is the biggest challenge as a single mom.
Finding someone to look after your children who you trust, especially if you work in a really unpredictable profession. For example, me working in television, I never know how long a contract's going to last. I never know how long my day's going to be. I never know what deadlines are going to come up. They move all the time. When I went off on maternity leave, I took 2 quite long maternity leaves, well, a year for both. And I found that during that time, technology had moved on really quickly in the space of a year. So I left the industry for about a year and a half, and by the time I went back, the cameras were different, the technology was different, and I just felt a bit like, my God, I just felt a bit out of my depth. And also social media had really come to the fore, and when I was, even though it was only a year, it wasn't as prolific. But when I went back in, I'd kind of been in a bit of a bubble for a year and a half, bubble of breastfeeding and nappies and children's centres and baby groups. And you know, you don't talk about, you know, the latest technological advances when you're with your kids playing with other mums. You talk about how gorgeous they look in their new dress or whatever. So all those conversations that were happening around me surrounding technology and social media just totally passed me by. So now I try to make a conscious effort to stay up to date with technology, and it is difficult because naturally I'm not drawn to technology, so I really have to force myself, you know, to try and stay current and stay, you know, make sure that I'm aware of those changes that are happening around me, especially within my field.
Things are definitely waking up to the idea that they're missing a trick when they don't have diverse teams. And there's a real push at a lot of companies to get more women into tech. And that is one of the reasons that STEMX was born. And it was tackling the younger females to try and just dispel, you know, the stereotypes and, you know, the things that hold them back from taking up STEM and putting them in touch with role models.
Part 1 discussed why more women are starting their own business and the issues affecting the career paths of women.
Women continue to take the primary responsibility for childcare beyond the early years. 3/4 of mothers say that they have primary day-to-day responsibility for children.
26% of those classed as inactive do not work due to family commitments.
In the UK, in 2012, for the first time since Global Entrepreneurship Monitoring Records began, almost 1/4 of working-age individuals were engaged in entrepreneurial activity or intended to start a business within the next 3 years. This source came from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitoring Report of 2014.
And just make sure your skill level is up there. Any chance you get to improve it, you've got to make sure you're at the top of your game. There's no point letting people know what you do if when you get that opportunity you're not ready. So I don't say, my main thing is be ready, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come. So make sure your skill level is always up there.